Oh. Ta-da! The Saw franchise is one of the most divisive horror series out there. Some like it, and some hate it. Well, I'm one of the ones who likes it, and after watching the movies again, something came up that I wanted to share. It's a theory. My first, but hopefully not my last theory. Simple enough, this theory is I believe that John, Jigsaw Kramer, knew that Amanda was involved with the death of his son Gideon. This is never confirmed in the films, but there's a good amount of evidence pointing to the fact that he knows. Let's start off by catching everyone up who hasn't seen the films in a while, or if you haven't seen them at all. In Saw 4, we find out in a flashback that John is waiting for his wife Jill to close up the health clinic before she leaves. Cecil, a drug user and scum, tricks Jill into getting his jacket. After doing so, he holds her at knife point and goes inside to grab something. Jill, looking for him, gets close to the door. Cecil slams the door into Jill so hard she ends up having a miscarriage. Later, in Saw 6, we find out that a letter Hoffman wrote to Amanda tells her that he knew that Amanda was there tonight, and that if she does not kill Lynn Devlin, that he will tell John what she did. Now, this is good and all, but John is too smart to not know about Amanda. As seen in every Saw, John does a lot of watching and learning about his victims. In Saw 4, we see that John follows and watches Cecil, everything he did, everywhere he went. He did this with everyone he puts in a game. Amanda clearly seems to be dating Cecil, enough to where she can clearly convince him to do whatever she wants. So with John watching Cecil for quite some time, there is no way he couldn't have known about Amanda. However, there's more. In the first Saw, Amanda's put into a trap. She has a minute to retrieve a key from the stomach of her dead cellmate. One thing that never seemed right, she's a drug user, so why is she being forced to cut into someone's stomach? Unless it mirrors what happened to Jill. She was hit in the stomach and lost her baby, so Amanda has to cut into another stomach to save her life. Then, in Saw 3, John is the one that tells Amanda to look for an envelope in the top drawer. The same envelope that Hoffman prepared for her. Why would John tell her to look for the envelope? True, he might not have known about the letter, but in the same movie where John is trying to calm Amanda down, he lets her know he knows about her past deeds and forgave her for them. While he says this, it shows what happened with Eric Matthews and Carrie. I believe he means her other misdeeds, like cutting herself for being involved with his son's death. This wouldn't be out of character for John either. He did the same for Hoffman, and in the last film, Jigsaw, we find out that the man that messed up his x-rays and his cancer wasn't found in time when it should have been. He put that man in a game, but the guy didn't wake up and almost died. He saved him and taught him his way. Then, in Saw 5, Jigsaw was able to figure out that Hoffman killed Seth Baxter, framed Jigsaw for the death. How could John figure out a detective faked a murder and framed it to look like a jigsaw trap? If he could do this, how would he not know about Amanda? The letter, I believe, was just part of Amanda's game. One of Amanda's problems was her emotions. She felt every decision she did. That's why she went back and killed Adam. After reading that note, her emotions were off the charts, and it just would make sense for it to be that part of John's game. John was always a step ahead, even with Hoffman, so why would he miss this detail? It explains why Amanda's so emotional around John, why she admires him so much. Plus, this explains why he chose Amanda to be his successor. He could have tested her, and that could have been the end of it. But afterwards, he sought her out. He chose her, and why he gave her so many chances and a final chance with her game in Saw 3. He was trying to help her forgive herself for Gideon. To add to this, Jill might have known as well. When John shows her proof that his method works, Jill notices and calls Amanda out by name. She knows her and would have known that Cecil dated her. Plus, in Saw 6, when the reporter gives Jill the note, she looks at it and just asks where she got it. She doesn't seem surprised. Afterwards, she doesn't even freak out or have a breakdown. She just uses it as a bait for Hoffman. Maybe Jill didn't know, But John had to. He watched and learned everything about his victims. He learned all their secrets and even was able to hide things from Hoffman and information from Amanda. It doesn't seem possible that John didn't know. If Hoffman knew and used it for blackmail, then John had to know. So here's a quick recap. I believe John knew about Amanda's involvement with the death of Gideon. He is a very smart man that watched every moment and learned every secret of his victims' lives. Amanda had to cut a key out of a man's stomach, which mirrors the air here that Gideon was at. Telling Amanda about the note and having her read it would fit with her game that John set up for her in Saw 3, and John was always a step ahead of Hoffman and Amanda. It would explain why he forgave her for her past misdeeds, gave her so many chances, and chose her to carry on his life's work as a way of redemption. So that's my theory. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Like and subscribe for more videos and possibly more theories. Ain't no Retentive Gamer, signing off.